Buckle up, excellence junkies, because this podcast is definitely for you. Welcome to Rocket Fuel. Do you wish that you could surround yourself with people that love to kick ass just like you? Well, come to my party, baby, and meet some of the brightest stars in the entrepreneurial galaxy, because it is my mission to give these entrepreneurs a platform to declare what they are on this planet to accomplish and to show you why they are rocket fuel. And we're live. Hey guys, this is my teaser for you because I had an amazing episode with this fantastic guest whose mission is to help people stop living their life on autopilot, right? He loves to say it's time for you to live your life by design. And when I met Dorian Jones here, I just love living a life by design. I just love that. And I'm just honored to be able to tell your story. So tell us a little bit more about like what inspired you to encourage people to stop living on autopilot.
Because I feel like a lot of the things that I learned later in life all taught me that these are things that people should know. So I want to give people a shortcut so that they don't have to go through the struggles that I went through. I'm going to tell them like, hey, I went through these things so that you don't have to. This is everything. I wouldn't say everything you need to do, but these are the basis of things that are going to help you grow as an individual so that you can really take control of your life. Stop feeling like life has happened to you and feel like you're happening to life. And you really feel like you have control of it. You feel like, okay, this is it. This is the life that I want. I feel like I'm going in the right direction and I feel like I have control. So that was my big inspiration behind everything that I do.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit. I know we go a lot deeper into your background, but I think it's important, even in this teaser for people to understand like what your perspective was. I mean, were you fortunate enough to have somebody like be that motivating figure for you, and you want to pass it on, or what?
Not at all. I was struggling. I was as a teenager. I grew up, or as a kid, and my whole life I grew up in poverty. I grew up in the area. I grew up in public housing. Basically, we call them projects. I don't know what they call them around the world, but in LA, these are things called projects. And this is like I was in one of the most impoverished areas of LA, and it was guessed that we were going to be probably dead or in jail by the time we were 18 or 21. The crazy thing was a big shift came for me when I had an encounter with the police. I was maybe 15 years old and these cops pulled up to me and I was walking from basketball practice and they told me I'll be dead or in jail by the time I'm 18. And they asked me before they even said that, they said, what are you on, parole or probation? I'm like, dude, I've never even been to jail. And they just insulted me. And this was so normal to me. And I was like, you know what? I have to do better. I want to get out of this.
Right. But the thing is, Dorian, I mean, in most cases, people aren't inspired. They don't get out, right? Like you, for some reason, you took it as like, I need to get out of this. This isn't me. This isn't what I want. I don't accept this default, right? But what was that switch? I mean, if you look at, your friends, your family, I mean, I'm sure you look at people in your circle and that switch hasn't gone off for them. So what happened to you that flipped the switch?
For me, the switch came for when I started to go outside of my neighborhood. When I started to go outside of my neighborhood to nicer areas, whether it was to the beach areas, even though that was maybe 3 or 4 miles away, I had rarely been to the beach, or whether that was going up to Beverly Hills, Hollywood, West Hollywood area, just seeing a different lifestyle and then really feeling like I wouldn't say connected with it, but I felt this energy when I got up there and I'm like, you know what? I like how this feel. I like this environment. And if they can have this stuff, I can have it as well. And I just have to work hard for it. I just have to do the work. So that drove me. I was like, you know what? I have to get up here. I have to put myself in position to where I can say, you know what? I'm on top of the hill and I'm looking down at the whole city. And I'm like, I came this far, I climbed all the way up the hill, literally. So that kind of pushed me. I was like, I got to keep going.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because when we feel like our our whole world is this, right? If you don't travel out of that, like, you literally think it's everything. Like, it's
Mhm.
either that or it's like what's on TV. Like, there's like nothing in between. There's like, cuz this is so I mean, I think that's a really important first step too, is for people to step out, right? So whether it's like for you, it was physically like getting in a car and driving out of that radius, Um but some people, they do the drive, but their bubble includes the drive back and forth to work, or the drive back and forth to like all the space, the same things, right?
Mhm.
So what's interesting is even taking the step to do something different, right? To just do something different, go somewhere different, to kind of start opening your eyes up to what's possible, right? That's an interesting, first step there too. And yeah, it's like I just think about I'm fortunate that my parents always like I was born in New York City, and in the Bronx, but my dad and my mom, who like essentially grew up in Hell's Kitchen in New York, they had that drive to like go out of that environment, right? Because it wasn't the Hell's Kitchen that is now, by the way. Hell's Kitchen in New York City is like, oh yeah, I live in Hell's Kitchen. It's so bad. It's like, no, no, no. It was called Hell's Kitchen for a reason.
Right.
Right? They lived in Hell's Kitchen when it was really Hell's Kitchen. Um, but it's interesting because that was my dad, like having that drive, like there's got to be something else. And then there's a lot of like pushback, from the the people that stay in that environment. Did you get pushback from your friends and family about you like wanting to get out, and who the hell do you think you are?
Yeah, yeah. They say I think that I'm better. That I think I'm too good. I get all that type of stuff, all those things,
Mm,
but I didn't associate with many people after I kind of got a little bit older because I noticed that there was a disconnect because I was onto something else. So I stopped associating with those people and built a new group of friends, a new group of associates. And I stopped being in that area in general. I moved myself out of it, even though I still have family there. I still go back there and visit, but I moved myself out of it. I knew that I had to change. I had to get out of it because if not, then I probably end up being another statistic, whether I be dead or in jail, just by
right.
being in that area.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to move beyond, right? So
Mhm.
it's not necessarily better, like being a better person, or it's beyond what you feel like fits for you, right? And once you
Right.
feel like, all right, this isn't for me, it's tough, because then there's this perception of like, who do you think you are? And the thing is, everybody has that opportunity for the door, right? Everybody has the opportunity for the door. It's just a matter of like, is it worth it to you? Is there something that you desire more than where you are? And what's interesting is that what you gave us as an audience, and I'm going to share the value bomb. And guys, I highly recommend you listen to the longer episode. We got into some great stories and real inspiration. But you put together just like the first steps that people can do to start like making that shift, right? Because
Mhm.
a lot of these principles that you put together, and I'm gonna share what the catchword is here. But a lot of the principles that you shared are things like you wish you knew
Mhm.
beforehand. It's like, shit, if somebody told me these things, I could be, a little bit more focused on like my path out. So first I'm going to share the catchword, and then I'm going to ask you a little bit more about it. But so I invite you guys to text RF dash diligent, diligent, because I would probably mess it up too. So RF for rocket fuel dash diligent to 411321 if you are in the US, and you will get making the shift, taking the first steps to living a life by design. Dorian, thank you so much for putting this together. And then, of course, if you're outside of the US, I want to make sure I share this. You can text to +1 909 741 1321. And of course, the catchword or the message is going to be RF diligent. I don't want you to miss out. This is not just for entrepreneurs, by the way.
Mhm.
Dorian, your mission is to help anybody
Right.
that feels like they're stuck. Tell me a little bit more about who the perfect person is for this piece.
The perfect person is someone who just feel like life is happening to them, where they feel like, you know what, this is not exactly where I want to be right now. I just don't know what to do. I don't know the next steps to take. It just seems so overwhelming. So these people are looking for something. They just don't know the next step. They don't know what they should do. They may not even feel like they're good enough. And it doesn't matter where they come from. I know I come from a certain area, but there's many people around the world who deal with the same struggle of feeling like I want to do something better. I want to create a legacy for myself. I want to create a legacy for my family. I want to create something where I can be proud of it, but they just haven't taken the step. They haven't found the inspiration, the motivation to do it. And they feel like, okay, it's time for me to do something different, but they don't know what to do. So that's the perfect person that I help out. I start to give them that belief within themselves. That's the first ground level of it. Having that belief within yourself, whatever it is you can envision, you can do it. But you just have to,
it is totally possible. So to me, I can't think of a scenario, and even in really, really horrible scenarios, the biggest first step is believing that it is possible, because then all of these little doorways, they start opening it up. If you don't believe it, you're not going to see it. Right. That's the issue. If you don't believe it, you're not going to see the opportunities that may be there around you. You're just not going to take advantage of them. You're not going to see it. You're not going to ask the questions. You're not going to declare to anybody what your desires are. So how the hell are the people that are willing to help you going to show up? Because you don't believe and you're not ready to declare that and take that step. I mean, I feel so strongly about it, and I'm just so excited to be able to share your message, Dorian, because you're super approachable. That's very important to you. I mean, if people text RF-diligent to 411321, they don't only get making the shift, they don't only get this PDF, but they get access to your calendar so that they could connect with you and just talk about, okay, what could be next for me, right? I mean, I know that you even put together a free course for some people that, that have that motivation. I want you guys, if you're inspired, to do something about it. Don't walk away from this episode and was like, wow, and be like, okay, I guess I'm going to keep doing the thing. Just do something, pick up a book. Definitely text RF-diligent, right? Go to DorianJones.com. It's DORIAN Jones.com, right? Yep. Do the something. And I'm sorry, I'm on a roll. So
we're good.
I know, but I feel strongly about it, and like I said, Dorian, you're so approachable, and you have a wonderful story to show people that switch, once you start believing and start questioning, is there something else? Let me just start making the baby steps just to see what else is out there and what the something else is. Like in the longer episode, we talked about, is it riches? Is it, lots of money, cars, whatever? Is it impact? What is it? And so I definitely recommend that you listen to the longer episode. So I'm going to shut up because clearly I'm very excited about it. Dorian, any final words aside from listen to the longer episode?
No, if you're struggling right now, if you just don't know what to do, don't stop. Don't give up. That's one thing you can't do. Don't give up on yourself. Continue to push forward. The doors will open up for you. It may not feel like it. You may have $0 in your bank account. I don't know what your situation is. Continue to push forward. I promise the future will be better. I've been there before. I've been through it all. I wouldn't say been through it all, but I've been through a lot where it'll break people. But you have to keep going. That light is much better at the end of the tunnel. And if you're struggling with that, feel free to reach out to me. And as Wanda said, I'm very approachable. I'm here to really help you guys. I'm really here to see everyone make that shift so that they can start to live a life by design.
Yeah, I love it. Well, thank you so much, Dorian. I hope you have an amazing day, an amazing weekend. And for you Rocketeers out there listening, I hope that you have a rockin' day. Bye now. Oh, yeah. Thank you so much for joining us. Look, every one of our episodes is boosted by a value-packed keyword called a catchword. Yeah. This allows our audiences to text to receive even more value from our guests. So take advantage of that great value. And if you share your expertise by guesting on podcasts or TV or speaking in front of live or digital audiences, then you're leaving anonymous fans behind. So go get a catchword at catchwords.com, KETCH words.com, and use podcast20 as a promo code for 20% off your setup fee. Look, make sure to rate, review, and subscribe to the Rocket Fuel podcast so you never miss your jolt of rocket fuel. Until next time, adios.